Hi guys,
So,
welcome. Welcome to everyone. Sorry, we're a little bit late. A bit of a technical error on my part. Uh, Everyone say hi to Balan.
what's good, guys? What's good?
So we were just talking about how I met Balan some time back, about 15, 20 years ago maybe, when I was a student. Uh, and that was quite some time back. And we're just talking backstage about Balan's new song. And I actually want to show you guys a little clip about his song. So just hold on, and it's going to be about 40 seconds just to get a bit of a gist of who Balan is and what's one of his latest projects. Yeah.
வா மச்சான் வா வண்ணாரப்பேட்டை நீந்திக்கிட்டு கேளண்டா என்னோட பாட்ட வா மச்சான் வா இது அஞ்சாத பேட்டை அரசாங்கத்தை கெட்டு பாரு நம்மோட சேட்டை அஞ்சாங்கட்ட அரங்கட்ட அரமண்ண கோட்டை மச்சான் நீயும் நானும் சேர்ந்து விட்டா பண்ணாத சேட்டை விடிய விடிய குட்டிய போட்டு குத்துற சம்பா தலைய ஆட்டி ஆட்டில தொங்காச்சு நிக்காத கம்பா வா மச்சான் வா வண்ணாரப்பேட்டை நீந்திக்கிட்டு கேளண்டா என்னோட பாட்ட
Welcome back, welcome back. So deja vu, right, Balan?
Wow,
I made
man.
him do this twice. Today I made him do this twice. So
No
very
worries.
sorry about that.
No worries.
So Balan, tell us about yourself. What's going on right now? I saw the TikTok video yesterday. Tell us about the
Yep.
TikTok video.
I work for a resto bar nearby my house, which is family owned. My cousin, brother, and few of my school seniors own it. So they brought me in as the head of marketing when they opened back after the lockdown. So I've been trying to build the restaurant for past 6, 7 months. We had another lockdown, then we opened back 1st of September. And we're just trying to build a neighborhood family restaurant. And then one of my cousins actually had a bakute shop when he was young. So he learned how to do bakute from a Myanmar guy. And he's pretty good at it. Lah. So we decided like let's add it to the menu. And we got good response from the walk-ins. So we decided let's go live with it. And I tried doing it on TikTok and I was very, very lucky. The thing just went viral, like a lot of phone calls and everything. Today is like the second day since the video went viral. We already got like 2,000 shares and like almost 100,000 views on few of the videos we put up. So it's been good response. So I'm pretty happy that people are coming out to build other people's businesses, and people have a bit more confidence to go out and like being a musician, being a part of the industry for the past 15 years. I worked for clubs, a lot of clubs. So I've always enjoyed F&B. I always felt like, okay, this is how I want to retire, like having a family restaurant and where people can come, you can say hello, meet, talk stories, and it doesn't have to be just because you're Indian, it doesn't have to be always about the alcohol. It can be about the food as well. So it so far so good. It's working, and I just want to see where it goes. Like today, like somebody called from Slayang and ordered, and I was like, "You're paying more for delivery than the food." So that's crazy. So yeah,
Well, people like you. What can I say, right? People like you. So that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing.
yeah.
So congratulations, right, on the 250K views. That's amazing. I
Thank you.
I mean, I applaud you for such a great song, and you've been in the industry for so long, and you're one of the very few that has like sustained and done so well. And I'm sure you've gone through a lot of stuff as well, right? What I notice when I follow you on your social media, right? You're one of those people who is always using your platform to support others. I've seen you, and I checked it out, right? I was like, oh, Balan has this. Does Balan have this product, or is he a partner there? And then I was like, no, he isn't. So tell me about that, right? Why are you using your platform to support, other, especially local businesses? I noticed, right? What's the passion behind that, or your vision?
I had a lot of people who hooked me up when I was at rock bottom. So I know that feeling of not getting enough support or not getting people to acknowledge or have awareness of what you're doing. So like when COVID happened, I was very lucky. I had a bit of savings. I had a great family and friends that could all of us could pick each other up. There wasn't an issue. But I can't say that for a lot of people out there. So when they message me and they tell me like I'm starting this and I used to be an engineer, or I'm starting this, I used to be a student, and I have a family to support. Like who am I? I'm not a politician or I'm not a multi-millionaire to make a miracle happen. But if God has given me this platform, why not use it for the right reasons? You know, like yeah, it is a business. There are brands that come to me and I charge them, but they have the pool of money to pay people like me to release their product or to get awareness with it. But what about somebody who just started something from home, like a baking cookie stuff or like some home cooked biryani or something? You know, like it doesn't have to be a food. It can be a product, it can be vape, it can be clothing, it can be something. But I feel like okay, uh, why not? Like so at COVID time, I met a lot of people, and my perception about life switched. Like God can give, God can take away, right? So in a way, COVID time, it was a lesson for a lot of my not very close friends, people that I know, associates who were super rich. They always showed off their money, but when COVID happened, they couldn't even pay for their cars or they couldn't take care of their lifestyle, and it was like a moment, like for me, like wow, like this is happening, guys, and I felt like these people are crumbling. Imagine the normal people. Where do they go? What do they do? They gotta adapt. They gotta move forward. They have a family to feed. So let's support as much that we can. So I did that, and some businesses really prospered. Like they found a good clientele through uh, my following, and they kept their services up. Like I run a clothing line, and I couldn't do a great job because I hired like some bunch of shitbags, and they couldn't deliver on time.
Yeah.
Uh, Printers kept giving me reasons, and it all came back to me, came back to my name, and I lost customers. And then, but I picked myself up again and again and did what I have to do. And I've refunded people and also sent the product, even though I took the losses, because I don't want to lose people over something so petty, which is just a brand.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
so like with other brands, what I do is if they have a budget, fine, pay me. If you don't, it's okay. Like I always tell them, it's okay. Like just send me what you need me to share, I will share it. So I feel good when I sleep at night, and I think these kind of things come back in triple fold or tenfolds. Maybe not for me, maybe for my kid, maybe for my wife. So why not?
Yeah.
Like have that attitude in the community, which will help a lot of people.
So let's just look at some of the comments and let's say hi to a few people that are here. Hi Abi, I can't see LinkedIn user. Who's that? GD Hashwini. Um, GD says a supporter is the only one that walks into your life when the world has walked out. Interesting
I could
comment,
agree on
right?
that. I could agree on that because it's not only me. I know a lot of friends who've gone through that. Like when I first started my clothing line, it wasn't my friends who came all out. It was unknown people from unknown places of this country. Like I never knew there was a place called Changkat Jering in this country. I never knew there was a place called um, what's Simpang Ampat. People like
Simpang empat.
addresses. I was like, wow, there are people from all kind of places. So it is true to an extent that it's very very true that sometimes the world walks into your life. When the world walks out, the supporter walks into your life. But some of us got lucky. We still have great friends, great family, people that really believe in us, people who really want to support us. And there are some people who never get that, but they got it from strangers and they built themselves. So it it works different for different people.
So we have a few people saying hi. Eve says the more you give, the more you get, I believe. So let's talk about the pandemic time, right? So you said it was a struggle for you as well because you run a business, you run Macha Magic, right? So that's one of your brands, and you were talking earlier about how you struggle with the business, and one very interesting thing that there's two things that I want to talk about today. Of course, I want to talk about Macha Magic definitely, and the whole thing behind the matcha, right? I find it to be a very interesting advocacy that you're doing, and also about the pandemic, right? So during the pandemic where you were struggling, can you talk to us about this? Imagine that you're struggling, you're not getting any shows, right? A lot of musicians were really, really struggling. I saw a lot of them talking about it, trying to do online shows and might not quite work out as well, right? As real shows like meeting thousands of people. Talk to us about in that situation, right? How did you find that desire or being in that moment to actually give others with Project Happy? How did you find that in you to do that? You were struggling, right?
Project, I think the root seed of Project Happy was, I think it was June last year.
Correct.
I stay in a very humble neighborhood. It's Panamaran Jaya. It's very humbling. People of all walks of life have grown up there and they're still growing up there. I've seen the good, bad, and ugly being in that neighborhood for the last 11 years. Um, so I think it was June last year. There was a girl, one of my neighbors, came to the house at like 11 o'clock at night and asked for my mom. So I walked out and was like, "Is everything okay?" She was like, "I haven't eaten. I just wanted to have. Can I ask for a Maggie or something?" So I think my wife went in, put like some Maggie, some sardines, some stuff, and gave it to her. But you know what's the sweetest thing about the girl? She gave me 1 ringgit. She gave me 1 ringgit. I said, no, 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 keep that. She's like, no, 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 I mustn't take anything for free. Then, and she comes from a house where there's a lot of people who stay. So she has a relationship issue with the family. But that hit me hard. And I was like, wow, like, this is stuff. That was the first time I saw something because the rest is all like on Instagram, on Facebook, or whatever, right? This is happening right in front of me in my neighborhood. And then I think around that same time I recorded Project Happy. I was talking about money. I've gone through a lot because of money. I've been dead broke. I got stuck in debts and everything. And I had like people that I really love making fun of me and using that as a tool against me to assassinate the character. But I've never had grudges over them, and I was like, okay, it's a lesson to be learned. Money could be uh, good and evil as well. So when I was writing the song, I was like, yo, you know what? Rather than doing a music video, let's do something else. I called a few friends. I was like, would y'all be willing to give me some stuff from your brands? And some of the brands were the brands that I helped at COVID time. So I was like, yo, it's now time for you to give back. You're in a good position. And then a lot of people did. Like I got to give shout out to uh, the stream group, like Buddha by Mr. Moods and Mr. Joe Flizzo. They gave me clothes worth, I think, almost 1,000 ringgit. And the Indian kids in my neighborhood has never worn t-shirts that's worth 109 ringgit. They've never worn a cap that's worth 200 ringgit. But they wore that for Deepavali. And I think we gave groceries, we gave food. There was some rap group that came up to me and was like, I want to give away rice. They gave me like 50 kgs of rice. We packed it up and just gave to the house that we know was having a tough time. And Psycho Unit gave me ampaos for 500 ringgit. We just gave it all away. And even the guys who did video charged me so cheap. And I couldn't even pay them on time. They didn't mind because they know this blessing is something else. And we didn't do it for numbers. Like a lot of people didn't know about Project Happy. We just did it to put a smile on my neighborhood and to put a smile on my face. And my mom was like, you itself, okay, only struggling. But why? Why do this? It's like, Ma, it's money. It'll come back. It's just a couple of thousands. It'll come back. And it did. It surely did. But the fact that my mom was worried because she's like, oh, you have a daughter, you have a wife. And I'm like, Ma, I have a family. I have great friends around me. There are people who don't have all this. So that was the thing that with Project Happy, and I was like, people were catching up to it like after 4 or 5 months. You're like, oh my god, you did this. I'm like, okay, y'all are a bit slow, but I'm glad that you guys caught up to it. Like the idea is not me doing it. Why don't you do your own Project Happy? Because there are so many thousands of people in this country who do so much things and they don't even take credit for. And that song and that video was to put a smile on their face. Because I have friends who do a lot and they don't take credit. Like they don't want to have an Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. They don't care. They're like, okay, God has given me say $200,000 annually. Why don't take out 20,000 ringgit and do something? Like to have that heart is more important than having the money. Because if I have 100 ringgit and I'm going to take out 10 ringgit and give out, I am much more wealthy than a guy who has $1 million and can't even take out 1,000 ringgit to give it up. So, like no disrespect to anybody, but but I have seen a lot of people who have money who don't. And I've seen a lot of people who got money, but they're so quiet, but they make miracles on a daily basis. Like daily basis. Getting kids scholarship, getting kids jobs. That's why in my restaurant, I decided not to have any foreigners. I want Indian boys or girls to come and work for us because I know what they're going through. The parents are struggling. So why do something easy money? Then you can come and work in a place and still take home 1,600 to 2,000 ringgit and take care of your family from a very young age and teach them how to pay their EPF, teach them how to save, teach them how to get into crypto at a young age because nobody taught me all that. Like I had to learn it all by myself. So with that stress that I was going through at COVID time, these were the wake up calls that I had bit by bit. And I was like, okay, this is how I'm going to live my life. I'm going to make music. I'm going to work. I'm going to send my daughter to a nice school. I'm going to take care of my family. But at the same time, I want to take care. I want to give it back to the people who have put me where I am today. Like I won't be where I am today doing a live video as Balan Kashmir or anything. Was it for thousands of people who heard my music, right? Or shared my music, or spoke about me in public, or went to their favorite clubs and asked like, "Oh, can we hear Balan's song?" So it's in a way your responsibility to give it back. And I think the moment that as a community we understand that, I think we'll be much more stronger in the years to come.
That's amazing. It's lovely to hear and to know that we have musicians here locally, right, who are able to think in that way. And when we talk about giving back, right, something you said about you don't have to have so much to give back. You don't have to wait. And a lot of us, I guess, are waiting to make that money, like, oh, we're going to become rich and then we'll give back, right? So what do you say to people like that, right? Can anybody give? Can an individual, a student?
When Project Happy happened, right? Uh, I was like collecting all the things that was coming to my house on the video shoot day. So there was this old lady that came to my house and asked me, can I have a bit of rice and Milo and everything? So Varnam Group, the Lawyat Group actually, gave me a grocery bag that was worth 150 ringgit. So I kept that for the families that it's like, that's really struggling. So this auntie walked up to the house and asked my mama, I was like, Mama, give her that bag. So I got one of the boys to walk her all the way to her house because elderly lady, she must be in the 70s. And then after like 1 or 2 days, she got kids, okay, but the kids were not there for her at the time. Then around Diwali time, her kids came and she told what happened and everything. One of the grandkids, which is like 8 years old, came to my house with a tabung and said, I want to give this so you can give this to people who need it. So I was like, this girl is 8 years old. She brought a tabung and gave to my house and gave it to my mom and said, give this to Anne and tell Anne to use it for a good cause. 8 years old. What's our excuse? The tabung, I didn't even break the tabung. I went and gave it back. And I was like, your thought counts more than like, the money that you give me. And why don't you save this money and do something nice for your grandmother? So I don't think I am allowed to say anything to people who are waiting to do something because we don't know what's their financial standings. We don't know what are the bills that they got. Like I still got bills. I still got to pay the bank. My wife still got bills. She got to pay the bank. My mom still has got bills. So we don't. Who am I to tell something about another family or another person who's waiting to do a miracle? But just remember this. It's just a start. Like just go to Mama store. This one like Ian from Hits FM told me to do many years ago. It's called Pay It Forward, right?
Yeah.
Uh, you go to a mama, you see somebody behind you, uh, or just point at some table, random table, just pay and leave. You know, that and that will automatically give them the feeling like I should do this one day when I go out. So it will become like a chain effect. It will snowball to a point that we all look out for each other. Like Malaysians look out for each other. When we accident, it'll be somebody unknown that'll stop and check on you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
we cannot look at all the Indian guys who come and stop with the helmet to save you in the highway as a bad person. Lah. There are a lot of Indian boys that look really karat, but they got heart made of gold. So because I'm from Klang, because I'm from such a neighborhood, I see that like from a very young
Yeah.
age. So I never judge. And so when we can do that for accidents, why can't we do that like on a normal day when you have like extra 5-6 ringgit, just leave it in the counter and say, that guy eating roti canai, let's pay for him. So like I think I was around people like that. My late goddad passed away last year. He installed this like over the years into me and a few of my friends. His name is Gerard Lazarus. He's always installed those kind of values in us. He's like, hey, asshole, you made 1,000 ringgit, right? Take out 50 ringgit and you do like some Indian uncle who's sleeping in front of KK Mart. Don't
Yeah.
buy him alcohol, just buy him some food stuff and just give 20 ringgit and send. At least he will survive for the next 3 days. So, those kind of things like when COVID happened, seeing how people were at COVID time made me more humble, made me more grateful of my life. And I am where I am today.
So we have some comments. Abi says, so proud of you, sir. Kumar says, Anna, you never fail to inspire. Your music and trying to make a difference in the community is always inspiring for me. Keep doing the great work. So one
Thank you
thing
so
that I
much.
noticed, right, in your song, right, Lucky, you were talking about the community, correct? And I think there's something that I read from one of the articles talking about the kind of music that you want to give out. It's not just about making like a club hits record sort of thing. It's also about talking about the community, bringing awareness. And one of the things I noticed is you came to Seremban some time back. Can't remember exactly when, to speak
Right.
to the youths, right? Why is that so important to you?
Late last year, I have a friend called Kanna. He became like my business partner. He felt like Macha Magic has potential. Let me just come in and introduce you to some people. So he is very involved in politics on both sides, the ruling and opposition guy, from a very young age. And I've seen this boy grow up, and he doesn't come from like the whole background of like uh, people will see him and judge him, right? But he came into, I've seen him grow up, and then when he became my partner, I was like, wow, you've come a long way, though. And he always said, like, you've come a long way. I've seen you from young. Like, look at you. And I was like, oh, this is great. These are the type of people that you need to be around with. And he introduced me some guys, and his name is Tina. Tina was the national youth leader for MIC Malaysia. And being an Indian, like there is mixed reactions about parties, right? So I always put that aside. I always try to study the person rather than what they represent. So I had a chat with this guy, like him and his boys, and they were very forward thinking compared to like all the people that have represented this for the past 60 years or whatever. And they were like, dude, your thought process is crazy. And I'm like, no, your thought process is crazy. Like, you all do so much and you don't take credit. He's like, yeah, because we take credit, we cannot get out. You don't take credit, so we cannot get out. So I was like, okay, you're playing the right card. Then he was like, Alan, we have something like this for the youth. Would you want to come? I'm like, I would love to. So I went there and I spoke to these kids. And I just told them my story. I didn't go there to brag at who I am. See, I come from Klang. There ain't much difference, Ramban and Klang. So, what do you want to do? You want to pick up the drugs? Do you want to do this? Or do you want to do this? There's two ways about it. And then I looked at the girls and I go like, if you can respect yourself, the men are going to respect you. But who am I to talk about your sexuality? Like, it's how you carry yourself. But I'm not going to be a typical Indian parent and say, oh no, you're not supposed to wear this, you're not supposed to wear that. It's how people look. That is the problem. It's not what the person is wearing. So all the guys who came there, they are great public speakers, and they couldn't believe that a musician had so much of public speaking potential. And they were like, dude, 1 hour, pin drop silence, 800 kids listening to you. I think you're in the wrong industry. I mean, what do you mean I'm in the wrong industry? You know, you should come join us. I'm like, let me be the underdog. Let me just be a normal Malaysian. Let me do my music. But I would always want to contribute back to my community. It doesn't have to be in a position. So my respect for the MIC youth boys really grew because I saw the type of things that they were doing compared to like 20 years ago, 10 years ago. The new breed of guys who were all educated, came back from abroad, still giving it to the community, doing so much. And I was like, wow, it's nice to see that. And I also got friends in like, DAP and all. My own classmate is an MP. So we all could sit in the same table and have these kind of chats. And that is what we need. End of the day, let's, stop being, like our parents like, oh, I'm going to be with this, I'm going to be with this. Let's give the position to people that we think have a long play rather than short play. What are the impact that you're going to make? Like, are you going to give 1,000 kids scholarship? That is an impact. Like, 1,000 kids getting scholarship. Wow, you're going to
It's their
create
life.
more. Yeah, you update their life, and upgrade their life, and they're going to be so happy. So that's what we need. And I saw that with these guys, with Kanna, Tina, Andrew, and all these guys, and it's nice. Like it's been almost a year. My progress with them has been great, and I like doing that. I told them like I hope next year you guys have the campaign. We can go to every single small district, whether it's 8 kids there or 80 kids or 800 kids. Let me talk to them. They could flip a finger at me and say, "What the hell are you talking about?" I don't mind, but let me tell them things that my seniors never told me. Oh, I bought a house at the age of 30. There are Indian boys in my neighborhood buying houses at the age of 22. Where did I go wrong? I always ask myself that. Where do I go wrong? Like, how did this boy get the knowledge? It's not school. It didn't come from school. It has to
Yeah.
be the people around. And now with technology in their hand, they could do so much more. Like, it's just putting them in the right
In the
path.
right direction.
Yeah, like, that's all you need. More than anything, that's all you need.
Just empowering them, right? Teaching them like which way to go. And once you empower them and give them something, then they know how to go on. It's easier. And
Yes.
when they respect you and admire you as well, when you have that influence over them, when you come and say something like that to them, they also listen very carefully to what you have to say,
And,
right?
and it's also like when they listen, you give them the power to ask questions. Like
Yes.
we've always been in a place where like, oh, it's been a very dictate. Like we have too many dictators in this country. Like people just want to speak and they just want people to follow. Like if you want to lead, you should allow other people to speak as well. And learn from your mistakes and improve your mistakes and make it a better environment or atmosphere for people to be a part. I think that's what we're missing out so much. So that's what I really felt like. I don't need to change the world. If I can change my environment, that's good enough.
Definitely. So we are heading towards the end of the show because Balan has a very, very busy night tonight. The restaurant is buzzing with people. Thank God for that. That's good for business. So
I really, really hope my staffs send the pizza to my wife. If not, my wife's going to be really, really happy.
do you guys hear that? I hope y'all are paying attention and listening. So one last thing that I really want to make sure I get before you leave is this whole matcha, right? When we talk about matchas, I mean, personally, me just being brown color, right? In Penang, it's even hard to rent a house, right? When you sit in the car and if Indian matcha is beside you on the motorbike, straight away everyone locks their door. I always talk about this in class. Why, right? And you always say this, right? Quote, Balan says this, guys, not me. Not every matcha is going to rob you. You want to talk to me about this whole advocacy when it comes to matchas and our brown
I'm
community, right?
I'm from Klang. Let me just remind everybody that I'm from Klang. I'm not Compton, I'm not like some gangster place or whatever. But people present the place like that. Yeah, there have been tough people that have been brought up in this environment. There have been people that became very famous for wrong reasons from Klang.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean everybody that comes up from Klang has to be that. Like, I've always bought that idea. Like, why from Klang means you all must have one face. Oh my God, Klang, what? For coming for Bakuti, you all are perfectly fine. You can drive to Klang and okay. But if it's something else, oh, Klang is this, Klang is that, like so that being a hypocrite, like I saw a lot of hypocrites growing up when it comes to Klang. Right? I had a lot of Malay friends growing up. A lot of Malay friends. Like very Chinese fellows maybe about 10 fellows. Malays about Indian fellows. So I come from a time where there wasn't racism. Like I could
Yeah.
go to his house and like chill. Like there wasn't like a politeness, there wasn't a territorial thing where like,
No
they didn't
clicks. Yeah.
allow other races into the house. So like I remember there was one night we all went out of Bangsa. I think it was 2007. I think my very close friend Ralph. I got work in the morning, but I was having massive drinks. And I went back home, woke up, and went to work, and I nailed the job that day. And I came back, he was like, dude, you're Macha Magic. That thing just hit me like, wow, hey, that has such a ring to it. It's like, yeah, because all the Malay boys from UITM love you, and they don't even know you as long as I do. You speak like one of us. They don't see you as an Indian at all. How come they can't see that with other Indian people? Then I was like, oh, okay, that's where it's at. Like, the perception of how we are is important as well. So, and they used to use the word macha in a very degrading manner. Like, it was like the N word, like that. Ala, macha tu, kau tahu macam mana. I didn't like that, like, from very young. But the Indian boys used the word macha to each other like we brothers. Like, it's supposed to be brother-in-law, but it's like, yo, you're my best friend, you're my macha. So like I was like, okay, how do we bring this to a point where like if somebody sees somebody having a car sticker like Macha Magic or wearing a Macha Magic or a cap or something, and they'll be like, okay, that's a great chap. Because I've seen those kind of Indian guys and I grew up with them. So I was like, okay, we need to make sure that everybody that rocks Macha Magic will be a responsible Indian guy. So how do we make that happen? The guy that's spearheading it has to be example to live with. That he's not perfect. He will make mistakes. He will sit in the streets also. But he knows his responsibilities to his family, to his community, and to the environment. So Macha Magic, 2006, 2007, that's how it started. And it grew. A lot of well wishes, a lot of people picked it up. I've crashed crumbled so many times. The biggest delight was when it came out in Rajinikanth in 2018, I think. Bedtime movie. One of the dancers wore Macha by birth. I was like, okay, I can retire. Like, what you gonna say? Like, the idea that started in Klang by a Klang Macha is on a Rajinikanth movie.
Yeah.
Go.
But
And I did it without money. I did it without paying anybody to get there. I did it with my own heart, with my own hard work, and I'm there. So that is my flex. I'm like, come on, bring it on. Like, try doing something better because I'll be happy. If another Indian boy from this country can do something better than that, I'm supposed to be celebrating it, not hating on it. But for me, when macam my birth t-shirt went on pet there, a lot of people hated on it. They were like, oh, he did this as well, he knew this person, that's why. I said, I didn't go put a gun to the director's head and tell him, like, come on. I did something good somewhere and let's go on there. So
came back somehow.
2019, we repicked it. 2020 is done, 2021 is done. I got two more new partners that just came in. We're trying to relaunch and try to be a store by March, hopefully. And it's just not a store. We want parents to bring their troubled kids to me. I want to have a chat. Like it should be like a community center. Like come, buy clothes, buy books, buy whatever. Let me have a chat with your troubled child that you think that was so troubled. Like send him to me for one day. Let me have a chat. If he's going to be the gangster, I'm going to call somebody that I know who knows gang life and tell him to have a chat. If you think he's drinking too much, then I'm going to bring somebody who doesn't have a kidney anymore. If you think he's disrespecting women, then I'm going to bring a policewoman from the from a department that handles people who sexually abuse other girls. I will let a woman talk to you as well. So, Macha Magic is not a party, it's not a gang, it's not a clubhouse, but it will be a vital force to change the perception about what they have about brown people and also to make differences. That's it.
Love that. Love that. Thank you so much. I really wanted to really get from you, right, what Macha Magic was all about. I know you, I always hear you saying things in regards to matchas, right? You like, don't judge us, come on. And I love the sayings on it, right? My amma told me I'm a king. And that just that statement itself, right, has such an empowering note to it. It's like, hey, you're amazing, you're awesome, you're here for a reason, you have a purpose. And I think it's like you said, it's more than a t-shirt, right? It's a movement. It's an understanding of who we can be and who we
Yep.
will be if we believe in ourselves, right? So thank you so much.
We have
Do
to,
you have anything else you want to say to the audience? I'm going to let you go. I know you have a lot to do today.
but first of all, Shao, thank you for having me. I'm so sorry, I had to
No
rush off.
problem, no problem.
But whoever that tuned in, just be better humans. I'm not saying all of us are bad people, but be very wary of the words that you say out. Be very uh, involved in your community, your neighborhood. Just don't be selfish. Another thing, like the Malaysian music industry, really, really need all your support in terms of
Yeah.
the radios are now only picking up to play local music. I don't know why we always give importance to Hollywood stuff or Hollywood or Bollywood when there's so much great talent in this country and that we could nourish and make them worldwide stars. I totally believe in that. And as much as you share Chris Brown and your favorite whoever Rihanna and when Adele dropped an album that day, everybody was talking about Adele, women empowerment. There are girls like Nina, Rita Raja, there's so many ladies in this country
Right here.
who's been doing the same thing, but they don't get the same love. Um, let's start loving our own products. Let's start loving our own community. Let's start loving our own industries, and then we can talk about being like Singapore in the next 10 years' time.
Definitely a good finish, guys. Support local music, support local products. Remember, end of the day, we are Malaysian. I don't know if we forget that. And I think the radio stations, right, need to start playing our music. We don't sound like we're in Malaysia. It doesn't happen any other country in the world. Only
There is
Malaysia, you know.
there is more K-pop compared to local music on English radio stations. Go figure.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I didn't think it was an issue until I left the country and I was like, eh, I went to Jakarta, they're playing Indonesian songs. I went to see, like anywhere you go, they're playing their local songs. I'm like, why aren't we doing that? It's not normal. We grew up with American movies and it comes to cinema, everything, right? From products, movies, music. We have to change, guys, and we can be the change, like what Balan says. So, guys, remember to support local music, local products. Remember, we are Malaysian. Balan, maybe you can share with me your link to Macha Magic where they can find your products, your merchandise.
Y'all can go to Instagram, just look for Balan Kash. There'll be a link there. The catalog is there. You can check it out there. And online, just whatever that y'all see on YouTube, just click on it, support it because I'm only publishing all my music in January. But so far, all the music that I did have been with friends and with labels. So somehow or other, it will still contribute back to me. So just support, guys. You don't have to do much. Like there's 30 million of us, like in 10 folds, if half of the country hears the music that they like and push it forward, I think all your rappers in Malaysia could be like Drake and all the singers could be like Rihanna, but we fail to see that.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone. And
Good night,
thanks,
guys.
Balan. Thank you so much for coming on board. And yes, I agree with what Abhi says. You definitely embody the lift as you rise. Lift as you rise, definitely. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone. Bye.
And we welcome these guys.